The first night I slept alone was a terrible night. I couldn't sleep. I was just rolling on the bed from one edge of the bed to the other, and with lots of thoughts going on my mind, how I would start life without my husband. It was a tough moment for me. I felt the world has crumbled and nothing worth living for again in the world. I felt God was not fair to us. He was not fair to me. Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Thank you to everyone who has already subscribed. And to those who are joining for the first time, this is a space where I share my experiences as a widow to help you find support through grief, strength for healing, and hope to start over. In this video, I will be sharing how it all started, the shock, the grief, and the changes I experienced, and how I found my way one step at a time. My husband died on the 11th April 2014 after being hospitalized for 6 months. That day, the day he gave up, it was not easy because when he took a long breath, I was confused. I rushed out of the ward, called the doctor, and when the doctor came, he confirmed that my husband was dead. It was so shocking, and I couldn't even cry. My relations held me and started comforting me. For almost 10 minutes, I was quiet. I was just mute. And later, I just shouted and screamed and asked why he had to leave me at a time like this. And reflecting on the long period of hospitalization, 6 months, I felt God was not fair to us. He was not fair to me. Leaving my husband in the hospital for 6 months, despite the prayers by the family, churches, friends, within and outside the country, but still he passed on. I felt a serious grief. And just when people heard that my husband had given up, a lot started trooping into the house. And it was a tough moment. I couldn't believe that it was really true. So many people came in to condole us. Friends, relations, church members, and many neighbors and the rest. But it was really a tough moment, still looking unbelievable. Within 2 weeks, burial arrangements were made and the burial took place. After the burial, some friends stayed for 2-3 days, and my siblings, my elder sisters, stayed for 5 days. Thereafter, everybody left. The first night I slept alone was a terrible night. I couldn't sleep. I was just rolling on the bed from one edge of the bed to the other, and with lots of thoughts going on my mind, how I would start life without my husband. 2 weeks thereafter, my children left for school. And I was left in a big house alone with no one except the housekeeper. It was a tough moment for me. I felt the world has crumbled and nothing worth living for again in the world. And I just felt there was no need for me to even live again. But after spending some time listening to some Christian messages by Bro Billy Akani, I was inspired and I found some strength and hope again. And I asked God to help me to be able to start all over. And without much reflection, I decided to quit my job. And I felt there was no need for any job, for me to continue the job, because I was working in another city and my house was in another city. And I felt, how will I leave the house without anyone? And secondly, having my son graduating from secondary school, how will I leave him in the house alone, looking at his own situation, leaving him to be vulnerable to friends and even the security around. So I just decided to stay back to be able to take care of him and the family. And you know what? Staying home without a job was not fun at all. I felt everything was becoming so boring for me. Having no friends or relations or neighbors even coming around to say hello. I stayed in the house for 2 months and I felt very lonely. Just when I saw that loneliness was becoming too much for me, I decided to ask a neighbor who had an office in town if I can have a space in his office to just stay and do some NGO activities. And he agreed. I started going out. And when I started moving out of the house to the office, I felt a lot of refreshment and felt a burden like lifted. Despite the fact that I was going to the office and I didn't have any financial benefit coming in, I felt satisfied and also felt relief that I'm able to go out of the home environment, and having to interact with people, and that gave me some satisfaction. In 2015, I decided to register the NGO with some NGO networks, and that kept me busy. I started participating in many NGO activities, humanitarian activities, having programs that touch the lives of the needy and the vulnerable. And I went ahead to start doing some training, skill acquisitions for women and girls. And I found satisfaction in it. I found fulfillment in it because I felt I was coming up and out to touch a life. I continued with the NGO activities, and at some point we started a community meeting with the women in my community where I introduced savings and loans, and we call it Adashi, where women will put in whatever they have and which they, at the end of the year, they will share. But before the year runs out, you can take a loan. And I saw that many women were blessed because those who couldn't start any trade were able to start something with what they got. And that gave me a lot of fulfillment. We were able to also do some skill acquisition with the women. And in fact, I have seen a lot of changes in these women. I've seen them come up with things that they have learned and also putting it into practice. And that has given me a lot of fulfillment, despite the fact that I'm not paid for it. I really find satisfaction in touching, even if it is one life, that I can add value to it. I have seen that God has helped me to an extent to come out of my shell to be able to touch another life. As time goes on, I'll be sharing more on my experiences and also the challenges I've passed through, and talk of ways you can overcome grief and how to start over. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Thank you.